Hey everyone, what is going on? So we have another shoutcast for you today. These are actually my battles that I did on stream, and I absolutely climbed, let me tell you. I went from 2503 to 2667, 69, something like that. Absolutely skyrocketed. Now the team is not much different than the previous team, except I am using Malama in the lead. I did mention that I do think Malama in the lead is better than Bruxious. And I used it, and it did not disappoint, let me tell you. So let's go ahead and dive right into the battles. And it's a pretty long video for you today. I hope you enjoy it. But okay, jumping into the first game. Of course, this is not a good lead. We're going to go ahead and safe swap into that Slow King. Now, my opponent is staying in. They could bait me. They could go straight for the high horsepower / Mega Horn. So I'm going to go ahead and shield. And that was a good shield because it was high horsepower. So out comes Malama, which is unfortunate. So you still struggle against Malamo with this team. Obviously, Malamo and Malamo is a mirror match, but the two in the back don't really appreciate Malamo because of how fast it gets to the foul plays. But still, it's not too bad. We can take that. I am actually going to go ahead and bait because I was confident they were going to go ahead and shield. I don't think they do shield. Yeah, so that's really bad for me. But they do have to throw the attack. It would have been nice to throw the Shadow Ball and get switched there, but that was a really good call by them. But with that being said, I am able to get a really good farm down just before they get to the foul play. So that worked out. In comes Rapidash. So the thing about Rapidash is it is a psychic type, obviously, right? Everything in this meta is a psychic type. So it takes neutral from these foul plays. So at this range, foul play will either knock out or come very, very close to knocking out. And they do actually give up the shield, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Slowbro. So just like that, I actually did get switch advantage. I'm going to go ahead and protect myself, though, from that high horsepower. And out comes Slow King. Okay, so pretty tough here. Hold on. Excuse me. Woo. Excuse me. Don't know what that was about. But either way, we're going to go ahead and go for another Surf right now. And I will get it low. They're going to go ahead and throw, which is good. A Shadow Ball obviously KOs me, so nothing I could do about it. Unless they significantly undercharge, but I'm going to bring in my Malama, go for the farm down, and actually get the farm down just before they get to the Shadow Ball, which is amazing. And I do get off the foul play. So despite the poor lead, we're actually going to be able to take this game. And I do have my coffee from McDonald's. It's a coffee type of morning, right? So I have that. Okay, moving on. So yeah, I mean, Psychic Cup could seem repetitive. It could seem boring, especially if you're watching content. I totally understand that. But at the end of the day, if you want to see a team that is really, really strong, I know Yonk has featured this team as well. It's just so powerful. They actually make a really good catch on the foul play, right? But the good thing about this is, as I mentioned earlier, it's still neutral, and 2 is still going to be enough to KO. So if they don't want to shield this, they're going to faint. So I'm going to go ahead and get the shield there and bring in my Slowbro. And I'm able to farm down actually before they get to the high horsepower, which is fantastic. I thought they would barely get there. They definitely had the body slam, but I guess they were going for the high horsepower / Mega Horn and were not able to reach it, which is good for me. So I'm going to go ahead and let that go, right? And I'm going to continue to farm up, able to get off a Surf, which is really nice. So I'm going to be able to get off this Surf. And that is going to pick up the shield, and my opponent is going to go ahead and go for an attack. I'm going to go ahead and commit the shield right now, though. And able to get it off. They do make the catch, which is kind of what I thought would happen. I thought they would try and catch, but I was like, you know what? I'm still going to go ahead and throw because I don't want them to get off an attack before me. However, I'm able to farm down that Gardevoir before they farm me down and come out with a Surf. I was looking really good there. Good game, well played to my opponent. Let's go ahead and move into the next battle. I think this opponent after this battle came into the chat to say GG's. I believe. I recognize the name. But okay, my opponent is going to go ahead and swap into Malamar. So again, as I mentioned, I don't really have a great response to this. I could have went for the Hyper Beam, but they do shield, so I'm glad I didn't. But you never know if they're going to shield. If they expect the Hyper Beam, they're going to shield. But my opponent is going to go ahead and throw the Hyper Beam. But I'm basically just getting, I guess, shield advantage. Because, again, as I mentioned, I wasn't really sure how to play this matchup just because I didn't really want to switch because the back line does not like Malamar, so I really couldn't afford to switch, right? So I'm just going to take the advantage and let this one go and bring in one of my Pokemon to farm down. I think the Slowking. I do bring in the Slowking and I am able to farm down. Yes, I am. Beautiful. So they bring in their own Slowking. I'm at not only shield advantage, but also energy advantage, which is really nice for me. So this is a shiny, by the way. I know it's hard to tell, but it's a shiny Slowking. They do shield that one up. I am fully expecting the bait, but it's still worth the shield in my opinion because I do have a 2 shield advantage. So I'm going to go ahead and commit that shield, and it is a Surf. And they actually win the CMP, so I'm going to go ahead and commit the shield. It's going to be another Surf, but I still think it's worth it because now I have 2 Pokemon against my opponent's whatever they have in the back, right? Because this Shadow Ball is going to be enough to KO, and it's going to be a Rapidash. I do switch out. However, I thought I was actually going to lose because I was like, they definitely make it to the high horsepower, and that is true, they do. But it doesn't knock me out. Luckily, it doesn't knock me out. I actually over-tapped there. You see that? I didn't throw the Surf as soon as I got to it, but I'm able to win. If I did over-tap and I fainted, I actually would have lost. So good game. Well played to my opponent. Let's go ahead and move into the next battle. So GG's, thank you for coming into the chat to say GG's. I really appreciate it. Okay, going up against a beautiful chocolate shiny Alolan Raichu. Love this shiny. I have it myself. I'm going to go ahead and go for the foul play. It's going to do a lot of damage. They do shield, and then I'm going to go ahead and switch. They charged up a lot. I know this can be a wild charge. It could also be a Thunder Punch bait, but I'm going to shield it, and it is, in fact, the wild charge. So they got a shield for me and then brought in a shiny Malamar. Is this a triple shiny team? I actually don't know. Let's find out. But I do go for the Shadow Ball. And I'm trying to get to the Surf. I'm able to get it off, which is really nice. They definitely had the foul play, but I guess they were over farming. But that allows me to get to the Surf and get the second shield, which is good for me. I'll take the second shield, and I'll let the Galarian Slowking go. That's going to be enough to KO. And then I do bring in my Malamar. Okay. They're going to be able to throw an attack. I think I shield this, hoping that it's a Hyper Beam, and it is the Hyper Beam. That will allow me to overfarm because they threw that Hyper Beam. So the Hyper Beam would have KO'd me. So I am able to overfarm before they get to a foul play and go for my own foul play, which is good. And out comes that, I think the Raichu came in. Did it come in? But either way, I go for the foul play right now. No, the Victini came in. Okay, so Victini comes in, and I bring in my slow bro, and out comes Raichu. Unfortunately, they do get off an attack. Need another sip of my coffee. Wild Charge. Not going to be able to KO me. I would have loved to farm down, but I'm not able to. So I do go for the Surf to KO the Raichu. And Victini is coming in, and Victini can unfortunately farm me down and get off an overheat, which is going to be enough to KO me. So really well played to my opponent. They're going to be able to win that one. Victini is another really good Pokemon in this meta. Even against Malamar, even against things it struggles against. It does a lot to even Bruxish, right? Okay, going up against another Victini lead. We'll see how this plays out. Seeing if they want to throw to debuff themselves. Again, it could be overheat, which also debuffs them, but that debuffs their attack, and it is overheat, so it's a good shield by me, and I'm going to be able to throw my foul play. Now, one foul play does not KO a Victini, as you can see, so out comes Rapidash. The only issue here is that, well, I'm down a shield, so I'm actually going to be down 2 shields now, because I am going to go ahead and shield this, and it is the Mega Horn, so that's a good shield. Now, because it's, it's a Mega Horn, they're able to get to a Body Slam, but a Body Slam is not going to KO me, so I'm going to go ahead and farm down and come out with energy. So almost have 2 Surfs. Out comes Victini. I'm going to go ahead and throw my Surf, but I think, do I overtap here as well? No, either way, they're able to get off the V-Create, which is unfortunate for me. I would have loved to get off that Surf. But I'm able to bring in the Malamar, go for the farm down, but they bring in their own Malamar, so I'm going to go ahead and go for my foul plays. Now again, I'm shieldless, which is unfortunate. A Hyper Beam will KO me, and I am expecting the Hyper Beam. I'm trying to get to my Hyper Beam, and I'm successfully able to get there. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it right now. So much damage. Again, a foul play will not KO, so they either have to throw 2 foul plays, or what I assumed they would throw is the Hyper Beam, but they actually throw the foul play. So that allows me to get to my own foul play. I was actually really surprised, unless if they're not running Hyper Beam, which is a possibility, right? You could run Superpower, and I'm going to be able to take that win. Yeah, if they threw the Hyper Beam, if they're running it, I think they win that, because that would have KO'd me. right? But either way, good game, well played to my opponent. It is possible they had Superpower. I don't recommend Superpower because everything is Psychic, so Superpower is going to be resisted against everything, but you never know. Okay, going up against a Galarian Slowbro, okay? Okay, I think I called the Surf here, and don't shield it. Yeah, I'm not going to shield that. It is the Surf, which is a good call. So I do have 2 Foul Plays, just going to go ahead and unleash them. So let's go ahead and go for 1 right now. See if they want to shield. They do not want to shield. Now, it doesn't KO, so I'm going to go ahead and throw another one. And this will be enough to KO, and they let it go. And I'm going to switch out into Slowking immediately. Buckshot's coming in, okay. Very cool. I bait here. I think I actually bait and they call it and they don't shield. I guess it's an obvious bait, but still. Oh, no, they do shield. Okay, never mind. So they do shield. So that was a good bait. Do I shield this? I think I shield and go for the Shadow Ball just to get the final shield from my opponent. They actually switch out into their own Malamar. So good play there. Unfortunately, this doesn't have to be shielded. And it's not shielded. But they can't Psycho Cut me down. So unless if they want to shield, then maybe they could, but they don't want to shield. So Foul Play coming out, that will be enough to KO. That's fine. I'm going to bring in my Slowbro. I tried catching, you saw me tapping on it, but they got off their move first. So that's unfortunate for me. However, I don't think it matters because I'm going to catch in the next one. No, I'm not. Okay. I was going to try and catch if I wasn't able to farm them down, if they were able to get to the move before. But either way, good game. Well played. All right, moving up on to the next one. Okay, a Slowking, great matchup for the Malamar, so you love to see it. We do see the switch there into a Malamar. So again, this is very difficult because you had the lead, you had the great lead, right? But they switch into a Malamar, so you kind of have to stay in because the Foul Plays do a lot of damage to you, right? The back line at least. So that's why the Malamar, that's why I'm staying in here. It's a tough situation because again, you do want to keep the Malamar alive, but either way, I'm going to go ahead and throw my Foul Play right now. If you would play this differently, let me know. I'm learning just like the rest of you might be, right? You know, if they safe swap into Malamar, would you go into something else? I feel like you can't. I feel like you have to stay in, right? So I'm going to go ahead and throw my Hyper Beam, which will KO or get the final shield. I'm hoping that they don't shield this one up, and they do not. So that does KO the Malamar. Very nice. So I'm going to switch out right now. That was a mistake. I should have went into my Slowking, because then they would have switched out, presumably. Well, maybe not. But then I would have had the Slowbro for the Rapidash if they did switch out. But either way, this is fine. The Slowking is going to go ahead and go for an attack. It's going to be a Shadow Ball. A Shadow Ball is going to be enough to knock me out. But we're still looking pretty good, I think. I do bring in my Malamar. The Malamar will be hit with an attack. If it's a Surf, I live. If it's a Shadow Ball, I get KO'd. It is a Surf, which is good. I'm able to get off my Foul Play right now, which will be enough to KO. And then the Rapidash can come in, and they do let it go. And now I'm going to switch out right now. I don't know, maybe I didn't make that much of a mistake. Because if I brought in my Slowking, they might not have switched out the Rapidash, just because I would have been ahead on energy, right? So I would have wanted them to switch out. That would have been the goal. But no, I guess I should have went into Slowking, kind of questioning my play there. But that's okay. I do pick up the shield. And now an attack coming in, I'm going to go ahead and give up the shield here, even if it is a Body Slam, or not a Body Slam, a High Horsepower. Yeah, even if it was a Body Slam, I would have made it to the Shadow Ball, but they threw the High Horsepower to go for it, and I do win. Oh, going up against Ferrixster, an amazing streamer. So definitely go ahead and check out my friend Ferrixster, really, really strong battler. I met him in Seattle. For, what was it? It was Goldfist, right? So I safe swap into my Slowking, and I am going to go ahead and go for the bait. I'm like, it's really risky to call this, but Ferrix, the next level plays, he does call it. Really, really good call by Ferrix. So I'm going to be able to go for the Shadow Ball right now, and he does shield that one up, so really well played. Really well played. I wish I just went straight Shadow Ball, but you know what? It could go either way. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Malamar right now. The Malamar will be hit with an attack, but I'm just going to save my shields. I'm not going to shield this. It's actually Crunch, which I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't know that Brushes even learned Crunch. Because I know usually you see Psychic Fangs, Aqua Tail, right? And that's the moveset I run on my Brushes. But no, we see Crunch. So Slowbro, and it's a Water Gun variant. Okay. And because I'm up shields, this is actually really, really solid for me. So I'm going to go ahead and commit the shield. As I was farming up, I was debating on baiting, but I'm like, he called the last one. I'm going to go ahead and go straight for the Sludge Bomb, and he doesn't shield that one. That is going to KO, and now look at that. We can just farm the Gardevoir all the way down. So despite the really bad lead and the great call by him, we're still able to overcome it. I have battled a couple Water Gun Slowbros, not too many, but I've seen a couple of them. Another Gardevoir lead, another bad lead for us. So I'm going to go ahead and switch into my Slowking, but he actually switches immediately. I guess he anticipated my switch, which makes sense. Obviously, I'm going to switch out of that. But, alright, good call by him to switch immediately. But, you know, I can flip this matchup, which I really have to do. By the way, I battled this trainer multiple seasons. Going back to, like, the Sinnoh Tour. Not the Sinnoh Tour, the Sinnoh Cup. I remember battling him in. So, really strong battler, but I am going to go ahead and shield this so I can get switch advantage. Unfortunately, I do have to double shield, but at the end of the day, I need switch, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I cannot have my Malamar on Gardevoir, right? So, I do think it's worth it. Clado coming in, okay. So, the backline doesn't appreciate Clado, but at the same time, we could still hang with it because, I mean, Slowking already did its job, plus I'm doing super effective damage. I can't make it to a Shadow Ball, unfortunately. Clado is really bulky, so it's going to be able to take this relatively easy. Could take a Shadow Ball as well, but now we have alignment that I want, or that I need to win this game. That is going to be a good game, very well played to my opponent there. And yeah, going to be able to win that one. Let's go ahead. Z Alucard. I feel like I've battled this trainer in the past as well, but I don't remember the leagues. I remember the name. Malamar, or not, okay, so Rapidash coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and go into my Slowbro. You could call this. It's really risky. I'm glad I did. Well, to be fair, Megahorn wouldn't KO me, but High Horsepower either would or come very close. But Megahorn would do a lot, so it is worth the shield there. And now I can take this Body Slam and farm down. But again, like you could call the Body Slam. They do bait a lot, but it's up to you. It's up to you. It's just really nerve-wracking to call that, right? If you will. But I'm going to be able to get off this sip. Let me get another sip of my coffee right now. Oh man, I don't get to another surf. That would have been beautiful. If they go for the surf, do I live it? They go for the Shadow Ball. Okay, I don't know if I would have lived that surf. But Gardevoir. Okay, so it's double fairies. So if I was... That's another thing you could do, right? Like, when they safe swap into Rapidash, you could predict the double fairy and save Slowbro for the Gardevoir if that's the case, if you want to. Obviously, it might not be double fairy, so I could have went into Slowking against the Rapidash, but I chose not to. But as you can see, this is still a good matchup because we are resisting Charm. I'm going to be able to go for another one. Beautiful. So I'm going to get this one off. That will be enough to KO the Gardevoir. And now out comes Slowking. Slowking does farm me down, but Malamar can survive a Surf plus a Shadow Ball. So we're totally fine here. We're going to be able to win. As you can see, just winning games with this team, right? This team is so strong. Just absolutely winning games. So yeah, I do recommend the Malamar over the Bruxish, even though I ran Bruxish in the last video, which did well for me as well. But going up against Malamar with the Bruxish is very difficult. And that's going to be a 5-0 in that set. I think I had a 4-1, right? I think. And then the 5-0. So that's a 9-1 right now. And then I have another 4-1. So into the 20, you saw I started at 25.03. I'm at 26.21 now. I only did 3 sets. So Malamar into Victini. Okay, not the greatest matchup, even though Foul Play is super effective, just because Foul Play doesn't KO. Unless if they debuff themselves first, which you could wait for them to throw, but the problem with that is they could throw an overheat, but I guess you're shielding anyway. I don't know, but I do go ahead and commit the shield because if they go for the overheat, well, if they go for the recreate, they're debuffed, right? So now this will KO. If they go for the overheat will debuff the attack, and the recreate, I don't think would KO me anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and commit the shield right now. Yeah, they do catch, which is kind of what I thought they would do. But they have energy on the Victini. I just wanted to throw it immediately. Plus, I mean, Malamar came in, so like we have to throw attacks into Malamar anyway, because you know how tough Malamar is, right? So I am going to go ahead and throw the couple foul plays anyway. We don't die to a foul play, so they have to throw the beam if they want to KO me. And they don't want to KO me unless they throw 2 foul plays. But I'm actually able to get off my foul play anyway, so really good for me. I guess maybe they were hoping Foul Play would KO, so I'm going to switch out right away. Let's see what decides to come in. It's going to be that Victini. Do I live I'm assuming it's going to be an Overheat. Well, actually, I don't live 2 V-Creates. It's actually a V-Create. Yeah, they have the other one. That's right. I remember that. So that makes sense to throw that because I'm not sure if I live the Overheat. So Slowking is going to KO me, and I'm going to go for the farm down, but they barely make it to another attack. Yes, they're debuffed, but they barely make it to another attack. So I'm hoping a Fairy type in the back, and it's the Rapidash. Let's go. Sludge Bomb is going to KO. So I'm actually going to win this game because it was a Rapidash. Galarian Rapidash is a great Pokemon, but when it's out of shields and you have a lot of energy, it really cannot do much. Good game. Malamar into Malamar. Beautiful shiny. Love the shiny Inkay and Malamar. Let me know if you have one. I love those shinies. Okay, so yeah, just stay in this matchup. I always charge up for Hyper Beam. You could go straight Hyper Beam. Only because 2 Foul Plays don't KO. So if you land the Hyper Beam, it's worth it because it takes a slightly less energy to get to 1 Hyper Beam than 2 Foul Plays. And 2 Foul Plays, as I mentioned, do not KO. So yeah, going for the Hyper Beam will make sense, unless if you think they're going to shield it. Obviously, I went for the Foul Play there. I'm going for another Foul Play because I'm thinking they're going to shield this one up. Let's see if they decide to shield it up. They do not. Oh, so a Hyper Beam would have KO'd, but look at that. I do get off another Foul Play anyway, which will be enough to KO. So you can play this mirror match multiple different ways. I'm going to switch out immediately. Out comes their Slowking. So at that point, or at this point in time, I'm thinking it might be the same team, right? There might be a Slow Bro in the back, and they do go for the Surf Bait, which makes sense. I'm actually going for the Surf Bait. My opponent actually calls this, which is really, really good play by him. Good call. Look at that. I'm going to be able to go for another one. That was a really good call by him. But obviously, they kind of have to shield that if there's a Slow Bro in the back. And I think there is. Do I shield this? I do shield this. I'm thinking they would go for another Surf because Surf would get me super low. But no, they actually go for the Shadow Ball. I'm going to be able to go for my Surf now. And they do go ahead and shield that. And now comes Slowbro. And here's the thing. I knew we would CMP tie, so I could have tried to catch. That was a mistake for not trying to catch, for sure. I didn't know who won CMP, though. I guess it's Slowbro. I think they're both close in terms of in terms of CMP ties, so it might be IV dependent, but either way, I decided to catch on that one since I wasn't able to on the other one. And that catch, I would say, definitely mattered. I'm going to be hit with this attack right now. It's going to be a Surf. I'm going to go for my Surf right now. Sludge Bomb is resisted. I'm pretty sure Sludge Bomb wouldn't KO, but I'm going to be able to just throw a couple Surfs. The only reason, it might be hard to tell, but I kind of paused for a second and saw that the Slowking switched in and then clicked on my move after realizing Slowbro won CMP. But again, it might be IV dependent, so I'm going to be able to take that one. But that was a really good game by my opponent. So now I know for next time, right? Slowbro generally does win CMP there. Alright, picking up a bad lead, I'm going to go ahead and go into my Slowking right now. Out comes Malamar. So at least we get the Malamar out. It's definitely a tough one. I'm going to go ahead and take this. It does a lot. As you can see, it's not going to be enough to one-shot, but it does do a lot of damage to me. I'm going to go for my Shadow Ball. We actually pick up the shield. So I decided, okay, at this point, I'm just going to take shield advantage. I do go for the Surf. You know what? The reason I went for the Surf was because I wanted to get it off before they threw an attack. But now that incentivizes them to just farm down because I was out of energy at that point. So if I threatened the Shadow Ball, they probably would have thrown an attack so they wouldn't have had energy. But now they're in Foul Play range, so I don't know. What do you think? Should I have continued to farm up, and even if they threw an attack, even if I didn't get off the Shadow Ball? But I think this is fine, because now I'm able to farm up energy and go for... I shielded that Hyper Beam, right? I think I wasn't looking at the screen. I think I shielded that Hyper Beam. I must have, because I would have been a lot lower, yeah. So, Rapidash is coming in. Let's see if it wants to shield this Foul Play. I'm going to pivot out into my Slowbro after this, no matter what. And they let it go, because they can take it. Ooh, okay, tough one, obviously, right? So I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and take a sip of coffee, but I'm going to go ahead and throw my Surf. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw another Surf. So let's do it. Okay, we'll get this Slowking really low, but they do go ahead and shield. I think it would barely live that, but yeah, they definitely wanted to shield that. I'm calling the Surf. It's the Shadow Ball. I didn't think it would be a Surf. Well, the thing is, like, they would have made it to another Shadow Ball. Look at that. They would have made it to another Shadow Ball. So at this point, I'm like, okay, let me call the Surf. I mean, I knew they weren't going to Surf, but, like, I was nothing I was going to do to win that one. Good game. Well played to my opponent. Really well done. Let's move on to the next one. We do have a Matt Lamont Mutant match going on for us. Okay. Very nice indeed. Yeah, again, charge up to the Hyper Beam. You could go straight Hyper Beam if you don't think they're going to shield, but if they shield, it's going to be really, really unfortunate. Or you could go Foul Play and then go Hyper Beam the next round, just because one Hyper Beam doesn't KO anyway. But they're probably more likely to shield the second one. I'm actually going for another Foul Play. Do I let this go? No, I shield it. It is a Foul Play, which is unfortunate. But I'm going to go ahead and go for my own Foul Play right now, see if they want to shield. Yeah, I don't know if it's better to go, I don't know if it's better to go straight Hyper Beam. But you've seen it. I mean, sometimes they do shield. Either way, I do survive that and I do thumb down. I have a good IV. I think it's a rank 26. So I have a good rank IV1. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Hyper Beam right now. Both attacks are neutral. They call it. Look at that damage. Oh my gosh. The chat was like, boom. Zionic would be proud, right? But how comes Metagross? OMG. But the thing is, like, yes, the Hex is super effective, which is great for me. But at the same time, they have two shields. But Metagross really, really, I would say it's spicy. Definitely really spicy. I battled it like once or twice before in the Psychic Cup. But yeah, it's definitely spicy, especially a Shadow one. Very cool from the opponent there. Picking up both shields. Unfortunately, I don't get off that Surf, so this is going to be enough to KO me. And I was wondering, I was like, can I Poison Jab down? Because yes, Poison Jab is heavily resisted, but at the same time, look how much damage it's taking because of how squishy it is, how frail Metagross, especially Shadow Metagross, is in the Great League. And I don't know if they tried to catch, but either way, I'm able to win that one. Great game, well played to my opponent. This is a pretty long video. Yeah, that was the last battle. Another 4-1. So we had 2 4-1s and a 5-0 with this team. Very solid. Getting up to 26-67. So expert push incoming. Anyway, that will be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good day. Bye.